good to see you today. I'm glad that you are here with us so that we can make some connections. All right, so on Sunday, we read a story out of our Spark Story Bible. It was called Be Humble, and it came to us from the book of Matthew, verses 23, 1 through 12. Did I say that right? No, it's chapter 23, verses 1 through 12. I said it wrong. We talked about being humble. And in our scripture, it talked about not wanting to have the center or a seat where everybody can see you. So let's think about that before we go spend some time with Mr. Bruce. Okay? Think. It's in my head. I got it. Go hang out with Mr. Bruce, and when we come back, we're going to make a big connection to that. Take it away, Mr. Bruce.
Hello, my name is Phyllis, and this is Bishop. He likes to sit on the piano bench sometimes when I'm playing or singing. So, Mr. Bruce had some problems with power. So as a result of that, Leigh Anna had asked if I could maybe help out. The song that we're going to be looking at is called Lord, I Want to Be a Christian. It's an African-American spiritual, and it has lots of neat verses. But it talks about these things being in my heart that we want to feel. And the scripture today, or this, is about humility or being humble, as Jesus was talking with the people. So 2 verses we'll sing. The first one will be, Lord, I want to be more loving in my heart. And then we'll sing the second one, Lord, I want to be more humble in my heart. I hope you like the song. I've always liked it.
Are you ready to make a connection? I sure am. Okay, so we talked about being humble and not being the center of attention. So in our scripture, it said, at gatherings, they like the seats where everyone can see them. I want you to think about that one while you listen to the story. Our book today is called The Tower.
The Tower, a story of humility, by Richard Paul Evans. Illustrations by Jonathan Linton. There once was a young man who desired to be great, but he did not know how to become great. So he went to the oldest man in the small village where he lived, for all trusted the old man and considered him wise. "What is it to be a great man?" the young man asked. "To be great is to be looked up to," said the old man. The young man considered his words. Then he went home and built himself a platform to stand on. He took his platform to the center of the village and stood on it. "Now everyone must look up to me." But not everyone did. That afternoon, a very tall man walked by. "I must build a taller platform," he said. He sawed off a bamboo pole and added longer legs to his platform. Now he could see the top of the villagers' heads. "Now I am greater than they," he said, looking down on the people. "They must all look up to me." "Not I," said a small voice. He glanced around. A little girl stared down at him from the window of a pagoda. "This will not do," said the young man. "What I need is a tower higher than anything ever built in this village." He went to work building his tower. He chopped down an entire forest of trees and dragged them to the top of a hill. He worked long and hard every day, from sunrise to late into the night. He did not have time for family or friends or sunset walks along the banks of the rivers. Whenever someone approached him, he said, "Do not bother me. I am building a tower." Eventually, everyone stayed away. After many seasons, the young man finished his tower. It stretched high into the air, high above the village. It was taller than the pagoda of dragons, higher even than the emperor's palace in the land to the north. The young man was tired, but he was pleased with his tower. "Now everyone must look up to me," he said. "I am the greatest man in the land." There was room for only one at the top of his tower. The young man soon found that he was lonely, but he told himself that it did not matter, for a great man must often walk alone. Besides, he reasoned, why would he want to associate with those so much lower than himself? One day, a bird flying by saw the young man on top of the tower. It flew down and lit on his knee. "What are you doing up here?" the bird asked. Normally, the young man would have sent away such a common bird, but today he was feeling especially lonely and welcomed its company. "I am a great man," he said. "Is that so?" said the bird. "A great man is an uncommon and good thing. I have always wanted to see a great man. Let me take a look at you." The bird flew around the man. Then it landed again on the young man's knee. "Excuse me for saying so, but I do not see anything about you that is so different from the other man." "What makes you great?" the bird asked. The young man smugly smiled. He did not expect a bird to know such things as what makes a great man. "Let me explain," he said. "I am much higher than everyone else. All must look up to me." He pointed to the people in the village below. "See how small they are from here?" "It would appear so," said the bird, "but then, perhaps, from the ground you appear small to them." For a moment the man puzzled. Then he said, "No matter. I am above them all. While they crawl with the animals and work their low fields, I sit high above them in the clouds." "You are high indeed," said the bird. "It is a long way to fall." "I will not fall," said the man. "My tower is strong, the likes of which has never been seen in this kingdom." "All towers fall," said the bird, "with time." The man ignored the bird's warning. He thought himself much too great to heed a common bird. "You may be as great as you say," said the bird, "but I know of one who is greater." The man cast his eyes about. "Where is this person?" "She is an old woman. She is far below. She could never climb such a tower," said the bird. "But even we birds look up to her." An arrogant grin crossed the man's face. "I have caught you in foolishness. If she is down below, how can she be looked up to?" "I cannot explain it, but it is true," said the bird. This angered the young man. "Where will I find this woman?" "Where the river is at its widest. There is a large rock just right for sitting upon. At sunrise you will find her there." With that, the bird flew away. The bird's words bothered the man. He decided that he must see this woman for himself. He woke up very early the next morning, before the sun rose above the eastern mountains. He climbed down from his tower. At sunrise, he found the woman where the bird said she would be. To his surprise, she was a very small woman, old and withered. Her clothes were ragged and poor. Still, she was surrounded by flocks of birds, for she took from her own loaf of bread to feed them. "I have heard you are great," the man said to the old woman. The old woman looked up, but did not reply. She broke off another piece of her bread and threw it to the ground. "You cannot be great," said the man. "No one looks up to you except these birds." "No matter," the old woman replied. The man puffed out his chest. "What do you know of the great man on the tower? You know of him, of course?" "All know of him," said the woman. "Whether he be great or not, I not know. He is nothing to me, but I pity him." "Pity?" cried the man. "How could you pity a man whom all look up to?" "I pity him because I think he must be miserable. He spends his life where it is cold and friendless. It is my experience that those who build such towers do not enjoy the climb or the height, but only to be higher than others. Such people must always be lonely." The man replied tersely, "It is a small price to pay for being great." "How do you know that the man is great?" she asked. "Because all can see him, and that makes him great." "Being seen and being great are not the same thing." "I don't understand," said the man. "To be great," said the woman, "is not to be seen by, but to truly see others." The woman threw the last of her bread to the birds, then turned and faced the man. "To be great is not to be higher than another, but to lift another higher." The man thought long and hard about this. "You speak strange things, perhaps, but I am too old to lie," said the woman. The man turned and walked back to his tower. As he walked, he came to a group of children playing. From his tower, he could not hear the laughter of the children, so he stopped to listen to it. Then he noticed a little boy sitting on the branch of a tree apart from the others. The boy looked sad. "Why are you not playing with the others?" the man asked. "I would rather sit above them in the trees," he replied. "But why?" the man asked. "Because it is better to be above them." He pointed towards the man's tower. "Someday I will build a tower like the one on the hill. Then I will be happy." "No," said the man as he turned to leave. "You will not be happy then." The man walked slowly back to his tower and looked at it for a long time. It stretched high up to the cold and lonely clouds. He thought about the old woman and the things that she had said, and he thought about the little boy in the tree. Then he took an axe and began to chop at the legs of the tower. To his surprise, the tower fell easily with a mighty crash. The man sat down on the rock to think. A villager was walking by and stopped to look at the man with the large pile of tangled wood behind him. "I am newly married and hope to build my wife a house. I could use some wood," he said. "Help yourself," the man said. The new husband began to gather the wood. "Do you need help building?" the man asked. "I have gotten good at building." The husband smiled. "Thank you. I could use some help." Word of the fallen tower spread throughout the village. There were many in need of wood, and the man shared freely of his tower with all who asked, turning no one away. Some used the wood to build fires to warm themselves and their families. Some made beautiful furniture and carvings. The man even helped a group build a school in the center of the village. The whole village was changed by his gift. As the man delivered up the last of his wood, he overheard one villager say to another, "Look how freely this man gives. You know what they say of him?" "What is that?" another asked. "It is said that he is truly a great man."
So what kind of connection did you make? Did you make a connection for a seat that everyone could see you on? The man built such a big tower so everybody could see him and he could look down on them, but they had to look up to see him because he thought that is what it meant to be a great man, that people looked up to you. Is that really what made him a good man? Absolutely not. Being kind and generous, giving away the wood that he used to build his tower, that is what made him a good man. Being helpful to the people in his town, that is what made him a good man. Doing for others, but not calling attention to yourself. Helping others, loving others, but not calling attention to yourself. I hope you guys have a great week. Keep being humble. I love you so much, and we will see each other soon. Bye, guys.